Perfect. The purpose of this is to review the TEXTELLENT platform, to take you guys through it in detail and explain exactly how it works, get you guys comfortable. We sent out a survey. Thank you, everybody who did respond. We had a very high participation rate in the survey, and the overwhelming result was yes, I'm ready to rock and roll. But in the interest of going into everything with eyes wide open, and there being no surprises or unmet expectations, we really want to walk you through the platform and allow the expert who's going to be joining us. He's actually the owner of the company, in addition to the one of the developers of the platform, to walk us through and give us the full rundown of what we got going on. There's nobody that could obviously explain it as well as he can, so we're just going to let him give it to us direct. So in typical webinar fashion, here's the way that it's going to kind of rock and roll. Is we are going to monitor the questions section of the webinar. So if you guys have a question, it's relevant to the subject that we're in at the moment, or we're close enough to where it makes sense to interrupt our guest, our main speaker, then I'll jump in and present the question. If it's something that is not relevant to the section we're in, we'll hold it till the end, and we'll use it at kind of our open Q&A portion. So at this point, I don't know if we need to review TEXTELLENT. I think it's pretty self-explanatory as far as what the platform does, the value that it creates. TEXTELLENT is a massive efficiency tool for your office. It's an amazing customer relationship management, customer retention tool. And as we reviewed on the last webinar, SMS is the most effective mass messaging platform for customer retention and relationship. And whether you're doing social media, you're doing email, you're doing print ads, traditional mailers, whatever, there is nothing right now that is more effective than a text message. The response rate is insanely high. I don't remember the exact statistic, but it's like 93 or something, 98 or 99. I don't know. Majid, you would know. And then the time in which it's read is like 90 seconds, whereas an email is 48 hours if it's read at all. So incredibly impactful, and that's why we wanted to bring this to you all. So at this point, I'm going to introduce our star of the hour. Majid, are you on the call?
Yes, hi there, I'm here.
Awesome. Everyone, this is Majid. If you could say hi, Majid, that'd be great, but he won't hear you. So hi, Majid. Majid is a fantastic human being, quickly becoming a friend of Right Way, and hopefully you all love him as well. He is the creator, and I don't want to give your backstory away if you plan on talking about it, but it was really a response to a need recognized within this industry, being that you spent a number of years in this industry, correct, Majid?
Yeah, going into the 11th year now.
11th year, gotcha. So you're no newbie. How long into the tax industry did you realize that we needed a text messaging solution?
That was, I believe, our 4th or 5th year. Back in 2011 is when we realized we should start doing some texting.
Gotcha. And then that just kind of snowballed into what you built for us, huh?
Yeah, we started kind of doing it manually. We had got a cell phone and started texting people, and then found the response was really out of control compared to everything else we were doing. And so I started doing some automation, and then over about a course of 2 more tax seasons, or 2 more years rather, and we had started building the service, got the service up and running, showed it to a lot of friends in the tax industry that we had. We were running 3 offices in San Jose, California, and added about another 20 or 30 friends who had their own offices. And And from there on, it kind of evolved. And after a few years here we are.
Cool. Well, to your point, I know a number of people, and actually one of them is on the call. I was talking to my friend Natasha in South Florida, and she was telling me about the thumb cramping that she gets every year, text messaging all of her customers. So you're going to save her thumbs, and so I'm sure she thanks you for that. So I'm going to make you the presenter, Majid.
Okay.
And we'll check out your screen and rock and roll. Here we go.
Okay,
should have got a prompt.
Screen. Yes, I got it.
Cool. So I see a couple of questions. Sorry, I see a couple of questions rolling in. We'll hold those, but keep them coming, please. Thank you. And you're off, Majid. Let's make it happen.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks everyone for joining the call today, and it's my pleasure to be working with a strong team here with Jeremy, Mark, and rest of the staff members at Rightway. And we're very, very excited with the prospects of supporting and helping all of you on the call with this technology. So like I said earlier, in 2011 or so, the germs or the seeds of this were starting. And by 2013, we built the system. And ever since, we've been enhancing and adding new functionality based on all the inputs from the fellow tax professionals. My background itself is a little bit in taxes, and I have online marketing for about 2 decades. Have a few patents, some in the U.S., some and one in Japan, including on this service that I'm going to show to you now. So you will all get this login once you sign up for the service, which has all these tabs here. The first tab is the dashboard tab that shows you daily activity of different campaigns. So it shows you that, hey, on this day, we had sent 14 appointment reminders, 28 managers sent, and 45 incoming text messages. Again, I'm showing you our TEXTELLENT login, which is not really a tax office. So it's not exactly as what you would expect. In your case, you will expect birthday greeting, prior reminders, referral requests, on-hold clients, non-returning clients, all of these messages going out. And we'll go through these one at a time in terms of what triggers them, how you can control them, and how you can customize them. But the bottom line here is that working with the Rightway team, this will be done entirely automatically for you. Initially, you set it and forget it. And basically, every day you will see the benefits working automatically. So how does that work? There are these automated campaigns, and each one of these is triggered by a certain rule and certain criteria. And most of these, so the first one is birthday greeting campaign. That obviously is triggered by the birth date of the primary tax payer as well as their spouse. And on the respective birthdays, they will get a nice message which says something like this. Hi, Mike, happy birthday from, and it'll be your name or your manager's name, and you get to control whose name it is and your company name, along with a nice picture that this is the default picture, but you can change it any time you want.
So I think one of the things that we may have not set up well on the last webinar that we might need to just kind of give a set expectation was for this part of getting the onboarding process will be uploading all of your prior year customer information, which is what the majority of this will queue off of. So I don't know if we laid that out in the last webinar. I told Majid, hey, your system's so awesome, we don't need to do a lot. We covered some of it, and so he's trying to shorten it up for us and just get to the meat and potatoes. And then I may have set him up because I didn't say how much we covered on the last webinar. So yeah, your prior year database will be uploaded in here, and that's what a lot of this stuff, these automated messages will be queuing off of. Correct, Majid?
Yes, that is exactly correct. Yeah, it is based on your. Yeah, thank you for that addition. So yeah, so the prior year information and the current year information, both of these work hand in hand to decide who should receive what message on what date, and it sends it out. And the beautiful part is all of this will appear as if you or your staff is taking the time to send those messages. They'll appear very human to human and personalized. So looking at the prior data, we will get all the birthday information for the clients and their spouses and send out happy birthday message. During your activation call, you see this green icon here. All you'll be doing is activating that campaign to make sure that green icon shows up. And after that, it'll be all automated for you. Okay. And of course, during your activation call also, or on your own, once your account is created, you will get an email from TEXTELLENT as well. And it'll say action required. This is your login information. And you can log in and actually go to the birthday greeting campaign, hit preview, and in fact, send this to yourself. You can just type in your number and send yourself a sample message and see how it looks. Okay. The next campaign, the prior client reminder campaign, that campaign is designed to invite your clients from last year back to this year. And it is triggered based on the date the client came to you last year. So by default, it is designed to send up to 3 reminders to the person, last year's customer. And by default, 21 days before the date they came to you last year, it'll send the first message. It'll look something like this. I can hit a preview here. Something like this. Hi, Mike, it's tax time. We're ready to take care of you. Call or text for an appointment. And we also have an additional add-on. We won't be spending too much time on it. If you like for them to book an appointment with you directly, you can even embed a link there. But you can also always ask them to call or text you for an appointment. And you can include a picture. So by default, we're going to include, we have 2 pictures which are very nice. One is 2018 picture. The other one is a nice tax time cash. So let's see here. Oh, this right here. You could use a picture like this as well. But my recommendation is, by default, we will have the right pictures for you. Just use one of them. Do not use more than 1 picture, because some phones may not be able to deliver multiple pictures. Phone carriers as well as phone limitations are also important to consider. So the way this campaign works is the 21 days before the date. So let's say somebody came to you last year on February 10th, for example. So this year, February 10th minus 21 days, that is about, I would say, January 20th, they will get the first message. Hi, Majid, it's tax time. Call or text for appointment, or just come on in. If you guys are, some offices do appointments, some offices don't. So you can change the phrasing. We kind of have this verbiage here, but you can change it to say, hey, just walk in or call us as soon as you have your W-2s ready and we are available. Those of you who do loan products or return transfer products where the fee can be deducted from the tax refund, you can kind of mention those kind of things, that no money upfront, whatever. So bring them back. They will get the first message. And if they come in, they either set up an appointment or actually come in and start the tax return, then this campaign will stop automatically and the next campaign might start, depending upon certain criteria. Well, I'll tell you in a second. But let's say if they don't come, then 10 days before the date they came to you last year, they'll get a second reminder. So going with our example of February 10th, on January 31st, they will get a second reminder saying, hey, Majid, come on in, let's get your taxes done. Okay, here our best practice is to have a picture in alternate messages. So in the series of 3, we might have a picture in one of them or 2 at the most, but definitely alternating, because in case they are not able to see deliver pictures to their the phone carrier is not able to deliver the pictures, then at least we follow up with a second message. And the ideal scenario is everybody gets one message with a picture, one without a picture, catching their attention. And let's say
on that note, Majid, I got a question from an attendee that's asking, is it possible, and I think you already touched on this, to upload your own image?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great question, and I love this interactivity. So I think that works well. You could go here under Management Options, Media Library. We provide you some default set of pictures, but you can upload a picture anytime. JPEG, GIF, PNG, the regular picture formats are supported. Just make sure it is no more than a couple of 100 kilobytes. Sometimes people take a picture from their camera and try to upload a 5 megabyte picture. On texting, that may not work very well. But regular size pictures, would work beautifully.
Cool. Thank you for touching on that.
Yeah, sure. And once you add a picture, you can give a name. And once you come here, you can just type that name of the picture, and this is a search field which allows you to find that picture. Okay. And the example here is, let's say even after the second text message, they don't come in, then a third message will go out 3 days before the return was created last year, which is going to be February 7th in our example when the client came on February 10th. So that's how the prior client reminder campaign works, and this is the most important early season campaign to kind of boost your activity for the season. What our clients tell us is that they notice that people, as a result of these campaigns, start showing up earlier to their office, and that's great because the cash flow can start earlier for you. Now, let's say somebody comes and completes the tax return with you, which means the return was transmitted. It may not be accepted by the IRS, but if it is transmitted, then what happens here is, by default, the day after the return was completed, they'll get a referral request. Again, one of the best ways to grow your business is ask for referrals, right? And some of you may even have a $20, $25, something like that of a referral bonus. You can add that verbiage here. But by default, one day after the return is completed, they'll get a first message. Let me preview this. Something like this. Hi, Mike, thanks for your business. I request you to please refer us to your friends and family, and then your name and your company name will show up there. Okay. And then you see we kind of mix and match with the variation of the message. We say our business depends on your referrals, and please refer us to your friends and family, etc. So one day after, and then 5 days later, and 10 days later, they get 3 messages once the return is completed. Now, some of you might find it too aggressive, in which case you can say, hey, I don't want to send 3 messages. I want to turn off one of them, or I want to space out the second one to 7 days, or I want to go with the default. In my experience, as we know, the early season customers pretty much finish their taxes by end of February. So it is very important. Like an early season customers probably has friends who are also early season customers. So it's not wise to wait for too long before asking for a referral, because everybody they might know may already have gone and done their taxes by end of February, which is why we go very aggressive. Boom, 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 ask 3 times very quickly. And we've seen this works effectively for the tax professionals. Okay. Example pictures that you might want to add if you want to give a $20 referral fee, or if you have any special, you could take a picture of a dollar bill or find one on Google and upload it here. And that goes out. And by default, we have a thank you. We might include that by default, but you could add a picture of a referral fee and kind of makes it exciting and attention grabbing. Okay. Now this third campaign here, we are figuring out whether we will have data to drive this campaign. The way this campaign works is, if the return was created but not transmitted, then this could be considered on hold, because if you're waiting on payment, for example, or if you're waiting on a certain document, let's say they forgot a W-2, then you could automatically use this campaign and remind them 2 days after the return was put on hold, 7 days later, and say, hey, Majid, come on back, let's finish your taxes. But this, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was going to say, so what Majid's referring to there, as far as whether or not we're going to have the data to drive certain elements, is one of the things that we've created or in conjunction with TEXTELLENT is an auto loader system of your client database, so that you guys won't have to go in and manually update the system. So the way that it works currently is basically every day or every night or however frequently, what it would be, you would export your client database, upload it to the TEXTELLENT, and that would then provide all of the fields needed in order to update the database and queue all the messages. So what we're trying to do to make it easier on you and us from a support standpoint, because we are going to be assisting as we can on this platform, which is our commitment to Majid and his team, and the way that we're able to do what we're able to do with you guys, is to auto load this database up. Well, one of the things that's a challenge is we really only have data on just certain platforms for returns that have been transmitted to the IRS. So if you have a paper return, or that return has been created but not submitted, right? We have no record of it or a way to grab it and add it into the autoloader. So there's a potential for a small handful of returns, if we don't get the reports we need, to be out of sync, which is something we would be addressing in our onboarding call, is saying, hey, there's a possibility of an expert, a small percentage of your returns to kind of be out of sync with respect to this particular campaign and the message that it's providing. How do you want to handle that? And so that's what's being addressed. But the objective is, again, to make your life as simple as possible. If you wanted to set it and forget it with all this stuff, literally come in, click 5, 6 buttons, and let it roll and let it do its thing, it can. And it'll message 90, I don't know how many people have a ton of paper returns, but it's not a significant portion of what we're talking about, especially in the early season. So just to provide some context around that piece.
Right. It's going to affect only a very small percentage, as Jeremy was saying. So that's the idea behind this. Is to bring those people back. But then what happens? The final campaign here is non-returning clients. This is a campaign that all of us have a portion of our clientele that does not return, despite the fact that we've sent them 3 reminders. Maybe they were unhappy with the service last year, or maybe they did not like the pricing, etc. And so we have a campaign to reactivate or re-engage clients like that, and we call them non-returning clients. Let me actually explain. This term is an industry standard term, which means something, and everybody understands that. Our definition is a little bit different. So let me explain to you so you know the difference in the definition. The industry standard definition is this customer came to me 2 years ago, did not come to me last tax season, and so this tax season I will consider them as non-returning and send them a special offer, which is a fine definition. In our case, in my humble opinion, I do not want to wait for an entire year to try to win them back. So the way this works is it only waits for 7 days by default. So going back to our example that we said last year, let's say somebody came to me on February 10th. So as you saw under this campaign, up until February 10th, we have already sent them 3 reminders. Let's say as a result of all those reminders, they still don't come. And now today is February 10th comes and goes, and today is February 17th. By default, this campaign will consider that person as non-returning and will send them a special offer, which in this case, the default is $20 discount offer. And say, hey, Majid, please accept this special discount. Let me actually hit this preview here. Hi, Mike, please accept a special $20 off just for you, expires on this date. And this will all be 2018 dates by the time you are live. And the idea, again, is to win the customers back. And this, in our own offices, I was saying earlier, our managers would tell us that this was one of the very popular campaigns. The good news here is the offer is not given to everybody. Is only given very targetedly to the people who are at risk of not coming back. Now, by default, during your activation calls, my recommendation is to not turn this campaign on up until the time where your first peak starts slowing down, which is sometime in February. And only then we typically start activating this campaign. And all you do is at that time, you go log in and hit this green button to activate the campaign. 2 little caveats. Some people might say, hey, I don't want to give a discount, although in my opinion, this worked beautifully for our offices. If you feel that you don't want to give a discount, you can edit and remove this verbiage and not have a discount. Just change it to make it appear like I'm just continuing to remind you, hey, we miss you, etc., etc. That's one option. The second option is if you think 7 days is too aggressive, I want to wait longer before I want to give them a special offer, you could change that and make it 15 days and make it the second one, make it 21 days, whatever, something like that. And the last one, you can make it 31 days if you like. So you could delay the offer if you like. But again, you know your offices. Our offices in San Jose were pretty much all early season offices. So we were very aggressive early on, and we did not want to wait for that long. And if your office is early season office, you want to also go aggressive on this. Works beautifully. Okay. These campaigns, like we said earlier, because of this arrangement that we have in place with Rightway Tax Solutions, all of this will happen entirely automatically for you. Then we have another feature for appointment booking page. We're going to defer it for this discussion. The idea here is allowing self-service booking and appointment reminders. But in the interest of time, we can move to the next area here, which is the text blast and one-on-one texting. Unless, Jeremy, you want to go take a different route.
No, I think that was perfect. Yeah. So just a kind of summary. Majid and his team have just built an awesome set of pre-built campaigns and messages that if you choose to do nothing else but go in and turn those on, it will send out a series of messages to all of your customers, basically with multiple calls to action. Come in, come back in, we miss you, happy birthday. So you're kind of hitting them on all points, and thank you for your business and send us more business. So there's a lot of impactful messages that are going out without you having to do anything. And just in terms of a customer experience, which we're obsessed about customer experience. We think that it's everything. You can have the best product in the world, but if you suck at delivering it, then nobody cares. So you got to have a good customer experience, and this allows you to provide that. Which one of the statistics we referred to is that 68% of people that don't come back to your business is because they feel as if you were indifferent to them. You don't care. Well, you just don't have time. So let's automatedly care. You know what I mean? Let's automatedly care and put them in the system and let it roll. So it's fantastic. The other 2 points that Majid's talking about is the text message blast, which is what I asked him to go into because I know everybody loves to send blasts, and then the ability to one-on-one communicate. So, yeah, thank you, Majid. Let's go to blast and then dialogue, I think.
Yeah, I love that automatedly care concept there. Beautiful. But jokes aside, that's exactly
trademark,
what it is.
Copyright, trademark.
Yep, automatedly care. The good news is this will appear to them as if you are sending it. So you don't want to use terms like, if you're talking to your clients, terms like we have a texting system or anything. Just to them, we don't exist. It's just you and them. So they should feel like, yeah, you are taking the time to send them the messages. In fact, if I could digress and come back to this, I want to show you what happens when you send those campaigns out. What happens is people start replying back. And those replies will appear in this dialogue tab. And then I'll end the discussion on the text blast, Jeremy. So what happens is the messages will be when the messages come in, they will show up here in this dialogue tab. So for example, take a look at this. This is one of our clients texting us back and one of our team members replying to them. You could do as much of that as you want. For example, I just texted another client here, Carla. So we were inviting them to send out a text blast for happy holidays. We uploaded this animating picture yesterday, and she just replied back saying, beat you to it for once. Merry Christmas to you guys, Carla. So she had done her own happy holidays text blast already. Great way to build goodwill right in front of in the beginning of the tax season. So I replied to her saying, you rock, Carla, with a smiley face, Majid. So you can have this kind of back and forth conversation, and there is unlimited use of this in your subscription package. And we recommend you exploit this as much as you want. And that will reinforce the idea in their minds that, hey, even the first message was sent by a human being, which is why they like it a lot. I mean, nobody wants to get any message from a computer. Let's face it, right? Nobody wants a happy birthday. Nobody wants happy holidays coming from a computer. They want it to come from you. So you want to do as much of usage of this as possible. And that'll reinforce that every message going to them is from you personally. You could also use this for them to say, hey, you forgot some document or anything. You take a picture of it, and if you click on that picture, take a picture of it and text it, and that'll come to you in a very high resolution format. You can download, you can print in your office, put it in their text file, whatever you want. So it's very convenient even for sharing some information as well. And you also have the ability to send a picture back to them, or you can just basically upload a picture, or send one of the pictures that you already have uploaded, or you could even have canned messages. So let's say if you're a busy office, or even if you're a one-man or one-woman show, you may have some common questions. Hey, when is my refund going to be available? Some questions like that, or how much do you charge? Those are the common questions we get all the time. you can craft a nice message, and at a click of a button, you can just send it to them. And to create the message, you will create canned message. You create a new canned message, type whatever you want, even include a picture if you want, and you could send that to your client base um, when they ask those questions without having to type it all over again. So this is the dialogue tab. This allows you to have one-on-one conversation, maintains full history of all the previous conversations. So if your client says, hey, you never told me that my return was rejected, or I needed to bring something and you were sitting, I needed to bring my kids' school documents, for example. Well, here on this date, we told you, and this was actually delivered. So you have full audit trail going on there, which is very beneficial in our business. Lastly, if somebody says, hey, I don't want to receive text messages, you can come here and mark them as do not text. Or if they respond back with X or stop or abuse words, we all have some clients who misbehave sometimes, automatically they'll be taken out, and you will see an icon like this, cross mark, which will say they have been taken out from, so they will not receive future messages. So this is the dialogue tab. It will act like your virtual texting based help desk. And the more you use it, the more you will like it, because it is much more efficient, time-wise, and effective, audit trail-wise, than phone calls. Okay?
So there was a component of this, Majid, to where you had shared with us previously, to where when you're not in the office, you can actually have it routed to your cell phone without giving out your actual cell phone number.
Yes. Thanks for reminding me on that. So that is actually exactly right. It's part of our very unique approach, which allows you to stay in touch with your clients even when you're not in the office, and that you can configure it by clicking on Manager Cell Phone Settings. So you will see the office name. In our case, two are showing, but in your case, your office will show here. And by default, all the incoming messages from your clients will be forwarded to your cell phone. And we recommend you keep that default, because what that does is, let's say somebody asks you a question saying, hey, are you open tomorrow at whatever time? And let's say you are not in your office, the text message comes to your cell phone, and you can actually reply back from your cell phone just in a regular fashion. And that'll go back to them under the same conversation thread, this same conversation thread. It will not share or reveal your own personal cell phone number to them, because it's very important for your privacy. And it will be also be recorded here for audit, for your record. So allows you to stay in touch with your clients even while you are on the go. Okay. And lastly, if they call the number, so the way the messages go out to them is, we buy a new phone number in your area code dedicated to your office. All the messages go out from that number instead of your own cell phone number, which is important. But if they, like I said already, if they text back, the responses show up here as well as on your cell phone, and you can reply back from your cell phone without revealing your number. Also, if they call that number, it'll automatically ring at your office landline, and you can control where it should ring by going into management options, offices, and you can click here. Whatever phone number you have in the manager cell phone will get the text messages, and whatever number you have under the office phone will get incoming calls. And in fact, when you pick up the phone, you will hear a message like, TEXTELLENT forwarding incoming call from John Doe, and then you can carry on the conversation. Okay.
I mean, that is actually a pretty huge point. Now, all of those are huge, massive value adds, both from the privacy of keeping your personal cell phone number, out of the public, and then the ability to manage it while you're on the go, and to have it forward to your office phone number. Those are all really smart features, Majid. So I just added my 2 little cents there. Well done, sir.
Yeah, thanks. And yes, that reminds me that anytime you get a response from your clients, even if it is a simple thank you to the birthday greeting, I recommend you reply back saying you're welcome, or anything, even if you're a while on the go, because that response really, sometimes some clients may think, hey, how come he remembered my birthday? And so they test you, right, by sending a message, is it really you? And so if you reply back for everyone, then that really seals the deal, and they are now so impressed, they will talk about it on their birthday party, and they will get you new referral customers. So that's the dialog tab. It also has a little audio notification. So what we recommend is you keep this screen open on one of the computers, perhaps your front desk person, at all times while they're in the office. And keep this slider on in the on position, because it'll have a little chime every time a message comes in to remind them that they need to respond to them. And so that's the one-on-one messaging. One more thing I want to mention is we only support the Google Chrome browser. So please have that. It's the fastest browser, 70-60% of the market share, and very safe. And we only support that. Do not use IE or even Firefox with this service, because sometimes you might see some little inconsistencies, because we use some very advanced web technologies for pushing these messages to your browsers, and you want to get the benefit of all of that. So that's the dialog tab, your texting-based virtual help desk. So far we have covered campaigns, which are one-on-one, rule-driven, entirely automated messages, still appearing to be personalized. The dialog tab is one-on-one, non-automated messages and full audit trail and help desk. And so that's the second type of texting in the system. And the third way to send messages is group texting, mass texting. So you may have a contact list of, by default, you will have 2 different contact lists automatically in your account. Let me actually show this. We just have way too many contact lists in our account. You can see we eat our own dog food heavily and use it a lot. You will see tax year 2016 and tax year 2017 clients. And the counts will show up here. Again, this is not a tax professional account, so those counts are 0. But you will see those, and you can send a message to those contact lists at any time. But you're not limited to only those contact lists. You can create any number of new contact lists. Let's say my bookkeeping clients, my payroll clients, my insurance customers, my prospects that I met at that particular trade show, whatever you like. You can upload the contact list, and then you can send them a nice message to try to gain their business. So the way this is done is there are 3 steps to doing a text blast. And what a text blast is that it is a message that you can send efficiently to hundreds of people at the same time, but yet each one of them will appear to them so personalized that they will feel that you took the time to send them the message. Okay, so 3 steps. Step number 1, if you like, you can upload a picture in your media library. I'll tell you that some of our clients actually send out a PDF attachment, which we support technically from our system, but some of the phone carriers and some phones will not be able to deliver those. So be very careful. If you want to do PDF, you will see that we support that, and it will be delivered to some phones, but the limitations are outside of our control. You can upload a picture, step number 1. Step number 2, you come here and create either a contact list or use one of the ones that are already ready for you, like in this case your tax year clients, which will be coming directly from Rightway Tax Solutions. And the third step is to actually send a message. Let me spend maybe a minute or 2 on how to create a contact list. Very common scenario is if you want to create your own contact list, you need to know the format. The format is very simple. You click on management options, best practices. There are training videos here, and there is a video for how to send a text blast. Under that video, there's a link for the sample contact list format. You click on that link, and you can save it anywhere you like. And it opens up. You can open it in Excel. It's very simple, 3-column format. Phone, first underscore name, last underscore name. Keep these column headers. Please do not change them. And just simply add your contacts here. Phone number, first name, last name. And then once you're done with that, you save as. And when you save it, definitely make sure you are saving as CSV, delimited. Okay, format. And then you come back to the contact list, and you say new contact list, and now you can say my bookkeeping clients, or my insurance clients, or my bank product clients, whatever. You can select the file that you just downloaded, and then you check the box that you have their permission and send it over. Now, one more thing that we have here is if you could use this technology for prospecting purposes too. For example, in your Facebook ads, or in your print, or even in your window of your office, you can say text tax or deal any keyword, one word, to this number and to get a special offer. And when you're creating a contact list like that with a sign up keyword, what happens is anytime anybody texts that keyword to your phone number, the phone number that we're going to assign to you, they will automatically get added to your list. For example, take a look at this. I was giving a talk at an event in Orlando earlier this year, and I told everybody, hey, take out your cell phones, text Orlando to this number. And so many people did, and now they were added to my contact list. And now you can send them a message. Essentially, they're opting in to receive a message, and now you can try to win them over. So this is the step number 2, how you can create a contact list from scratch or attract new people to sign up. That's the contact list. The third step is how you actually send the text blast, which is very simple. You say new text blast, you can give it a name.
So go ahead. I just wanted to circle back on that and just reiterate what he just said. So everybody has multiple marketing platforms, right? Everybody's out there trying to get everyone's attention, to get them to raise their hand. Okay. The objective with what he just showed us is to get them to raise their hand to say, yes, I'm interested. And so what he is saying is on Facebook, because it slid by me at first. I've heard it a couple of times now and it still slid by me. If on Facebook you put this phone number with a keyword that says, text this phone number and X, Y, and Z, right? This is going to happen. They text that phone number. It is automatically going to add them to a campaign. You'll be able to identify where they came from. You know exactly how they got there. You'll be able to even assess your marketing spend through that channel. But more importantly, you'll have captured their cell phone information that you can now market them for those purposes. That is hugely impactful and incredibly effective for obviously knowing when people are ready to move to the next phase of whatever it is you're calling them to do. So I mean that's freaking sweet. So in case you missed that, I was just hoping to drive that point home because that is a very, very powerful marketing tool.
Yeah, thanks for reiterating that. Yeah, and people love the interactivity of having to text a number, right? So you could do that and grab their contacts that way. And now the step of how to send a message, you basically go to the text blast and you say new text blast, you give it a name. So happy holidays is the very, very prominent and popular text blast right now. And I recommend that everybody who signs up definitely do that one text blast right now because it's a great way to stay top of mind with your clients. So for example, you can select your contact list from here, and then you can add a picture. So we have a picture for like the animated picture I was showing. You can send this nice picture. And then, so that's the media. This is the text. Again, remember that you're limited to 160 characters. And it is pre-filled with this message. Because what we found is sometimes people were forgetting to write who they were when they were sending the message out. Keep in mind that unlike unlike email, texting does not have an email signature. So you have to tell them who you are. Otherwise, they will say, who are you? That we don't want to have that confusion. So we pre-fill this message saying, hi, first name is so-and-so from so-and-so company. And that will become, hi, Jeremy, it's Majid at TEXTELLENT, right? And then you simply add your messaging, wishing you and your family very happy holidays. And add you could add even more an emoji. And definitely, make it fun. Marketing has to be fun, and that attracts their attention. And then this section will not be displayed because each of them automatically your assigned phone number will be used. Here is how you can schedule it. And this is extremely powerful again because you don't have to wait until you are ready to send the message. You can schedule everything ahead of time during the busy tax season. For example, you can schedule this right now for next week or this week, and another text blast for, let's say, first week of January for Happy New Year, for example. We are ready with your loan products or whatever you want. So you can schedule it. You pick a date and time. My recommendation always is if you're going to send to more than 10 or 15 people, always spread it out from, let's say, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And select your time zone. And then what happens is The reason you want to spread this out, there are twofold. There's a twofold reason. Number one, if you send a lot of messages fast, because we can send a million messages in a minute, no problem. But if you send, like, let's say 100 messages in a minute, then the phone carriers become suspicious about you, that hey, this may be a spammer, and they might block you. Just like your email sometimes get into the spam folder, same thing happens with texting. You don't want that. So that's the one reason why you want to spread it over as many hours as possible. The second reason is, let's say even if the phone carriers let you go through and 100 messages are delivered all at the same time, and let's say even 25 of them started replying back to you, you will be inundated, because all of those replies will come almost immediately at the same time to you, and now you have 25 people to respond to. So you don't want to have a backlog on your side. And so both of those problems are addressed by spreading the messages over as many hours as possible. Okay, so just to complete that thought on that topic, what we do is, by default, we assign you a limit of 250 messages per day when it comes to that text blast. And this number was identified as working with phone carriers to say, hey, what is the magic number? What should we avoid to hit? And so the number was 250 per day, will keep you safe. So what we do is, let's say your list is under 250, then it doesn't matter. Those will finish during this time frame. But let's say if your list is over 250, so the first 250 will be sent during this time. The remaining will go next day in the window that you select here. And if you have more than 500, so the 250 will go on the first day, 250 on the second day, and the remaining will go on the third day, as long as it takes to finish the text, the text blast. Okay. Now that limit is not set in stone. That is something that could be changed if needed. We do not recommend you change it, because you might be spending the money and the message being blocked by phone carriers, because you won't even know if the phone carriers start blocking you. The only way you will know is you will see no responses coming back. So you can use the default, or you could so plan this to start soon. So for example, if you're going to send out happy holidays message, my recommendation is it should finish before the Christmas day. Ideally, it finishes, let's say if you're doing a Christmas message, then it should finish on Friday or Saturday of that week, meaning in the next few days. On the other hand, if you're sending a Happy New Year message, then that should basically start on the 2nd, not on the 1st itself, because every business is closed on that time. Or you send a Happy Holidays message sometime after the Christmas day on 26th to the 30th. These are the right times, in my opinion, to send out this message. Again, those are not set in stone, and you can control it if you like.
So just to point out something else that we'll touch on here in a minute, but the blast text messaging, there is a per transmission, per send cost of 3.9 cents per plain text and 5.9 cents per picture text. So every time you're queuing those up, there is an additional cost for the blast text messaging. So just to put that out there again, eyes wide open, want everybody to have all the information. So. Yeah,
thanks for pointing it out. And in fact, what you could do is, if you come here and do the preview of this text blast, in my case, I'll select, let's say, my office and hit preview. I need to select a future time, because this time has already passed. If I hit preview, it'll show you exact time and date it'll start and end, showing you the effect of the daily quota that I mentioned to you. It also will show you the charges, the amount it'll cost for you to send the text blast. You can also send a sample message to yourself. And how do you pay for the text blast? Is what happens is, if you don't have funds on your account, and let me show you in a second how you add funds, you can save the draft, save it as a draft temporarily, so you don't lose all the work. It is sitting here in the draft status. Then what you do is, you go to management options, payment profile, and on this page it'll have a button say add your credit card. You add that credit card there, and then when you come back to text blast, it will allow you either to add funds directly by clicking this button, and the minimum is $50. But whatever you use in the text blast, the remaining will stay there indefinitely for future use. Or when you try to schedule the text blast, it'll tell you, hey, we need more funds, and click on the button and add funds. So that's how you pay for it, and that's the extra charge that Jeremy was telling about. One more way you will know the extra charge is, if you just look at your contact list and you just hover your mouse. Hey, how much will it cost me to send a nice message to this list here? Hover your mouse, it'll show you plain text will cost you that much, picture text will cost you that much. Okay. Now.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. So right, for your convenience, it's there. You don't have to do the math of 3.9 and
Genius. You're so smart, Majid.
Yeah, just listening. I mean, this is all collective smartness from the fellow tax professionals, just listening. Um, and like I said, the remaining will be available. So even if you pay $50, just look at it. This list has 544 contacts, and that'll cost me a whopping $32 to send out a beautiful looking animated Christmas card to 544 people. I mean, imagine the power of this thing, right? Compare that with sending a postcard.
In 4 minutes, or you know what I mean? As far as your time, if you had an employee sitting there at whatever, even $10-12 an hour, it's going to take them much longer than 4 hours to punch in all those text messages and get them out, and they're going to screw it up, and there's going to be typos. They're going to get names wrong. It's going to be, you know what I mean? This is it. So,
yeah.
If anybody's balking at the blast text message price that they're going to end up paying, I would challenge the logic of it. You know, if that's expensive, which I don't think it is. I think it's a fantastic value there. In the interest of full disclosure, and again, eyes wide open, we're not making anything off of this. So, me saying that I think it's a huge value, right way stands to profit zero from this deal. So, just as an FYI.
So if you look at it, another benefit is scheduling in advance, right? If you have somebody doing it, it will go out immediately versus being able to schedule in advance. And then talking further about the scheduling, we have an ability to do recurring text blasts. Sometimes you may have a need. Let's say if you are doing, healthcare premium payment reminders, you could set up a monthly text blast on the 21st of every month. You can say repeat this every 1 month. In the 3rd week of that month on the Tuesday of that week, and automatically it'll repeat that message again. It'll cost you the 3.9 and 5.9, but one thing completely off your shoulders. You don't have to remember this, and it'll just happen for you like automated communication with your clients. And the best part, once again, is all of this appears to them as if you are taking the time to send it personally. Lastly, about the cost, we are only charging you for sending the text blast. Now, let's say out of those 544 people here, half of them reply back, and then you reply back to them, and then they reply back. All of this back and forth, even though that costs us money, you're not being charged for that. It's part of your subscription fee. So my recommendation on this topic is absolutely essential to send out a happy holidays and really generate that goodwill in this time right in time for the tax season. So that's pretty much all. Perfect. We were going to cover, right, Jeremy? Unless you want me to cover something.
Yeah, no, that's perfect for. I know I'm relatively ADD, so once I get to an hour threshold, I start losing my own attention, no matter what it is I'm working on. So, Majid, you are the man. We are ecstatic to be working with TEXTELLENT and to have developed the cooperation and the ability to exchange information. And Majid's been fantastic to work with. We think that this platform is a huge value that will both increase your bottom line, increase obviously your retention, your efficiency, and in my opinion, the most impactful thing is your customer experience, which drives those other two things. So the questions that we've yet to answer is how do you opt in, and then what's it going to cost me? So I'm going to actually take control back and going to actually turn over the screen and the microphone to Mr. Thomas, who's sitting here. If anybody hasn't seen my kids, there's my kids in the background. They're cute. So why not? All right, Mark, you're up.
Hey, everybody. So just to give you an idea of how you can log into our customer portal, and you can view the estimated projected costs for using TEXTELLENT for each of your EFINs. We're going to walk through that quick process now. So, and if anybody's forgotten where to go to log into the actual you can just go to, you can just go to our homepage of our website, rwtsolutions.com, and from there you'll see this green login button. Go ahead and click that. That'll take you to the actual URL for our portal, which is pretty easy. It's portal.rwtsolutions.com. So either way, you can go to the green login button on rwtsolutions.com or directly to portal.rwtsolutions.com. Your username is going to be your primary email address you have registered with us. If you know your username but forgot your password, you can hit forgot password here and it'll walk you through a reset password step. If you don't know your username or your password, feel free to give us a call and we can get you logged back into the portal. Fast forwarding to once you're logged into the Right Way customer portal, you'll be able to go to My Office. From there, you will scroll down to, you'll see your related list of your office contacts, and then your office Ethan or Ethans. So you can see here TEXTELLENT enrollment checkbox. If you wanted to enroll one or all of your Ethans in the TEXTELLENT program, you would click into that Ethan record, and then you'll see here within the Ethan record itself the TEXTELLENT required account information. So you'll check this checkbox to enroll or opt into the TEXTELLENT program. And again, this is Ethan specific. So you would check this checkbox for this Ethan saying that, yes, I want to participate in the TEXTELLENT program. This is my estimated or projected cost for this specific Ethan. And that cost is based on the return volume that Ethan did with Right Way last year. So you can see your estimated cost, and then all these fields here will be required. So again, on each of your Ethan records that you want to enroll, go to the TEXTELLENT required account information, check the checkbox to enroll it, and then complete all of the required fields here. So if you have any questions on any of this, you can give us a call or your account rep a call and just say, I need some assistance logging into the portal, or I need some assistance enrolling my Ethans. But a quick recap is you would just go to the My Office tab. From there, scroll down to the related list, My Ethans, and then simply check into or click into each of the Ethans that you want to enroll in the TEXTELLENT program and fill out all the required fields here.
I think it's also important to say that the money will be collected.
That's a great
add-ons.
So that's great. Brian just brought up a good point. There is no upfront money required on this. If you want to participate and utilize TEXTELLENT, that's one of the advantages of working with Right Way. We can work with you to have that money deducted, or those fees deducted out of your June tax season bonus payment. So yeah, your add-on fees basically. So there's no money down required to enroll in this. So if you have any questions on how to estimate what the cost is going to be for each of your Ethans, or if you have any questions on payment plans, give us a call. But long story short, no money down to begin to utilize this platform. We can take it out of your add-on fees in June. So that is all. Majid, is there anything you wanted to add in closing? Otherwise, I think we can wrap this up.
Yeah, just one last item here. Once the folks activate the account, I suppose they will get some sort of training or some webinar or something so that they can activate the campaigns. Would you like to add some color to that?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. Is we're going to do kind of like a mass training, just because of the time of year where we're at. You know, this isn't our primary platform to support, so this is in addition to everything else that we're doing. So we want to do this kind of on a mass scale, to where we'll set up maybe 3-4 trainings and have 10, 15, 20 attendees per training. And we're not going to do a deep dive into them. We'll do resource awareness, so everything that TEXTELLENT's already built for us. for training purposes, make everybody aware of that. In addition to going in, turning on those campaigns, touching on them at a high level, how to configure them and so forth. And just like what we did today, but even probably a little bit quicker. So we're over our hour kind of allotment of time. And we just, Majid, thank you so much for being here. I'm sure there's a round of applause, standing ovation for you in the background, everybody at their own individual desk and computer. We appreciate it. Like we said, everybody, thank you for joining us. And we'll get all this information back out to everybody and get everything moving forward. So thank you for being on the webinar. Actually, there were a couple of quick questions that I wanted to touch on, Majid, before we jump off, just so I don't become a liar. So we covered that one. Question about in Spanish. Is there a possibility, other than typing it yourself, to convert anything to Spanish?
We do have some best practice language for Spanish language, and I'm happy to share that with you guys, Jeremy, so you could have your support team share with the client. So all you do is copy paste those messages into Spanish, and the system does support the Spanish character.
Cool. All right. Thank you for that. And then there was a question. We use Google Voice for our offices. Would you recommend using Google Voice or directly with cell phone? I'm not 100% certain. I'm not familiar with Google Voice. I think that's in response to the forwarding to a particular phone number for the cell phones or for the text messaging.
Yeah, I believe
like
Google Voice could
dialogue.
be. Yeah, I think the question we get this question sometimes is that for my landline I use Google Voice. I believe if the phone call is forwarded to your Google Voice number, that works just like any other phone line. For texting, we do recommend a regular cell phone number, because when you are out and about, you do want the text message to come to your cell phone number. So we recommend a regular cell phone number for texting, but I believe Google Voice works for incoming calls.
Cool. And there was one more that I wanted to hit on. Where did it go? For multi-offices, where did it go? I flagged it. Some of us have multi-line offices. Can we upload campaigns to be texted from other lines of businesses? Can we offer in our, I think we hit on that question. I thought that was a different question for multi-office environments where you had multiple different clients with different phone numbers. So obviously we covered that one as far as your multi-line. If you offer multiple services within your office, yes, your list can be specifically targeted to those different individuals. So that one was covered. With respect to multi-offices, I can see a number of the names that are on the call. That is one of the things that we're working on in terms of probably a next year item, is the ability from a single login to manage multiple offices. Correct, Majid?
Yes, at this time, for each IFIN, you will get a individual login, and that's how we manage offices. But it is on the planning consideration list to support single login and being able to see all office activities within the same account. So yes, for sure.
Each IFIN would need a unique email, correct, in order to register?
No, email, let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah, you are exactly right, because the email becomes a username. So yes, we do need a unique email address for each IFIN at this time.
So when you enter in this email address under the required TEXTELLENT account setup information, this will require a unique email for every IFIN.
So if you have 5 offices and you only have 1 email, you're going to need 4 more emails. Just something more for you to do at this time of year. But incredibly valuable. We're excited, and I think that wraps up everything. I covered all of, well, let me just make sure. So again, I'm not a liar. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of our question section.
On that topic, if I could offer a quick help there, if you use Google Gmail or Google Apps, and let's say you have an email saying john@gmail.com. You can create a new email, john+1@gmail.com, john+2, just the sign plus and any number, and that will be going to the same email address that you already have at Gmail, and it'll satisfy the requirement on our side of unique email address. Just keep something in mind.
You're a genius. I've known that, and we use that for testing purposes whenever we're, doing all kinds of, even with the portal and creating our dummy users and so forth. And I totally forgot about that. Thank you, Majid.
Sure.
So cool. We're getting a whole bunch of messages saying this is awesome. Majid, you're the best. Jeremy, you're super good looking. Jeremy, you have really good hair. Nobody said any of that. We just want to thank you again. Our pleasure. And we appreciate the opportunity to be working with you all. And our objective, again, is just to add value, to help you guys grow your business in any way that we can. We saw an opportunity with the TEXTELLENT platform as something that, we wanted to build this, and there's no way we could have gotten something out that was this awesome in the next 3-5 years with everything else we got going on. So Majid is just a fantastic partner to have, and we're excited. So not to take up any more of y'all's time. We're gonna cut it off, and thank you all. We will it be up before Christmas? I believe I'm not gonna. I'll follow up with you individually, so I'm not a liar. Yep. Thank you guys. Have a great one, and we look forward to killing it. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Majid. Talk to you soon.